Dear colleagues, please take your seats. Dear colleagues, good morning. Please take your seats and we start our session. So before we move on to the item which we have to finish now, it's point resolution 36-com.
Maybe we need to, if I need to.
Good morning once more. So before we move on to the item which is pending for adoption, it's 36-com 7b.103, I would like to tell you that according to paragraph 190 of the operational guidelines, the World Heritage Committee, I quote, shall review annually the state of conservation of property on the list of World Heritage in danger. This review shall include such monitoring procedures and expert missions as might be determined necessary by the committee. Following the dispatch on 11 May 2012 of the list of state of conservation reports proposed for discussion by the Secretariat and the advisory bodies, World Heritage Committee members were requested on 1st June 2012 to indicate which additional state of conservation reports they wish to discuss. The deadline was 15 June 2012, and the final list was uploaded and disseminated the same day. Notwithstanding, the committee can open other items. Only in a few very urgent cases, other properties were discussed on a specific request of a committee member due to a new information which could not wait for another year. This was the case for Kyiv, Ukraine, that yesterday World Heritage Center mentioned a small addition concerning the site of the stone town of Zanzibar, Tanzania, which the rapporteur could take on. And I also noted the request from Senegal concerning Djenné, Mali, which will, however, be taken up under the item which is opened, 106 World Heritage Properties of Mali. And, you know, dear colleagues, we have today 16 sites which we have to discuss. So let's be more quick, precise, and because tomorrow morning we have to start nominations. So now we move on to this pending item, archaeological site of Panama Viejo, a historic district of Panama. So we stopped yesterday. The drafting group has to present us paragraph 6. Please put on the screen. Who will present this item? Switzerland. Please take the floor.
Dès que je le vois, je le présente. Voilà le texte clean. Je le lis. Note en outre que l'État partie ne s'est pas conformé entièrement aux demandes exprimées par le comité dans sa décision 35 comme 7B.130 et considère que le projet de viaduc maritime de la Cinta Costera 3 doit faire l'objet d'une étude d'impact sur la valeur universelle exceptionnelle en vertu des critères actuellement inscrits. Nous reprenons donc certains membres de phrases qui existaient dans le texte précédent et nous ajoutons en plus l'idée que cette étude doit se faire sur la base ou en vertu des critères actuellement inscrits. Voilà, je crois que cela représente un texte de compromis qui est acceptable et je l'espère pour tout le comité. Et je remercie mes deux collègues pour m'avoir soutenu dans le travail d'élaboration de ce texte. Merci Madame la Présidente.
Thank you very much, Colombia. The floor is yours.
Gracias, señora presidenta. Igualmente, para unirnos a esta propuesta que creemos que es la más justa, para darle tiempo al Estado parte de no estar en la lista después de todos los recursos y los esfuerzos que han hecho. Gracias.
Thank you very much. Mexico.
Gracias, señora presidenta. Tengo un comentario sobre el texto, pero para ello quisiera hacer notar que en esta formulación estamos aseverando que el Estado parte no ha cumplido con los requerimientos de la decisión 35 COM 7B.130. Y también estamos aseverando que el proyecto Cinta Costera debe ser el objeto de un estudio de impacto. Para ello, y para poder aceptar este párrafo tal como está, quisiera, por su conducto, pedirle al Estado parte que nos explique dos cosas. Primero, si no existe ya algún proyecto hecho de esta manera, y segundo, si sí ha cumplido o no con estos requerimientos. En el caso de los requerimientos, también quisiera preguntarle si pudiera aceptar una misión que verificara si ha cumplido estos requerimientos. Gracias, señora presidenta.
Thank you very much. Point of order, Switzerland, please take the floor.
Madame la Présidente, je regrette infiniment de ne pas pouvoir accéder à la demande de la distinguée déléguée du Mexique. En effet, nous avons entendu, je dirais à satiété hier, les arguments pour, contre. Nous sommes dans la dernière phase de l'acceptation de ce texte. Vous avez vous-même indiqué ce matin que nous avions beaucoup de pain sur la planche et j'aimerais vous soutenir dans ce travail. Je crois que nous connaissons, nous savons quelle est la situation. Nous avons réfléchi dans le groupe de travail et j'aimerais rendre attentive la déléguée du Mexique que nous avons mis exprès un adverbe dans ce texte. Nous n'avons pas dit qu'ils n'ont pas, nous avons dit qu'ils n'ont pas entièrement. Et je crois que ce texte est bien établi, il est bien pesé et je vous propose sincèrement de ne pas donner la parole au Panama. Merci Madame la Présidente.
Thank you very much. Dear colleagues, maybe I will put the other way. Who is against this formulation? And we will not discuss more this item, please. I don't see any objection. Can we adopt this? Colombia, please.
Señora presidenta, hablé antes de tiempo porque como yo leí desde acá la pantalla, leí ha cumplido fullmente, no has not fully, but has fully complied. De esta manera igualmente Colombia no puede aceptarlo porque está implicando que no han cumplido con requerimientos que el Estado parte ha dicho que sí. Y de ahí viene todo el problema. Tenemos el problema que el Estado parte dice una cosa, el centro dice otra. Yo revisé toda la correspondencia que hay en este dossier y es sumamente confuso. De esta manera me tengo que unir a hacerle eco a las palabras de México.
Please, once more, pronounce what change you want to put in the...
Delete not.
Okay, so Cambodia.
Merci Madame la Présidente. C'est pour dire que le Cambodge est d'accord avec ce paragraphe 6.
With the amendments of Colombia?
Non, 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 c'est avant l'amendement.
So Germany?
Germany fully supports the intervention of Switzerland, and we agree with the original proposal this morning made by Switzerland and the Russian Federation.
India?
Thank you, Madam Chair. We are being distracted from the issue. It has not fully complied, that's a statement of fact. And I think we should not spend more time on it. The important thing is the impact study. The important thing is to do it quickly. The important thing is to get it moving. The important thing is for ICOMOS to look at it with fresh light and perhaps with a fresh face. The important thing is for the World Heritage Center to guide this process with a detachment, with a sense of being an expediter of the process, so that all of this comes to a close. Whether it's complied, fully complied, not complied, we know that it has substantively complied, but not fully complied. To me, I think we should spend much more time on the impact assessment, and I would like, if anything, to be reassured that this will be carried out very quickly so that decisions are not held up. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Russian Federation?
Да, я хотел, спасибо, госпожа председатель. Я тоже хотел обратить внимание на то, что в числе авторов этой поправки не указана Индия. И, естественно, хотел бы снова обратиться к членам комитета, принять эту поправку в том виде, как есть, и попросить мне дать возможность выступить после ее принятия.
Thank you very much. Algeria?
Merci, Madame la Présidente. L'Algérie est d'accord avec la proposition suisse et la Fédération de Russie.
Micro.
L'Algérie est d'accord avec la proposition de la Fédération suisse avec la Suisse, excusez-moi, et la Fédération de Russie et l'Inde. Nous considérons que l'État partie s'est prononcé hier et a répondu à toutes nos questions, et on est d'accord que l'étude d'impact sur la valeur universelle exceptionnelle est un élément important à réaliser. Merci, Madame.
Switzerland? No. So Estonia, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Estonia supports the Swiss, Russian, Indian amendment, and we can't go with the Colombian amendment. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So Serbia?
Merci Madame la Présidente. La Serbie est d'accord avec l'amendement proposé par le groupe de travail, et on pense qu'on ne doit pas se pencher encore sur la même question. Je pense que c'était une longue discussion et je suis contente de voir un compromis qui nous a été soumis. Merci.
Thank you very much. Senegal?
Merci Madame la Présidente. Le Sénégal voudrait également soutenir la Suisse parce que bon, cet amendement ouvre la porte pour une étude qui permettrait de laisser du temps un peu à l'État partie de faire ce qu'il y a à faire. Merci.
Thank you very much. South Africa?
Thank you, Madam Chair. South African delegation would like to align itself with the Swiss, Russian Federation and India proposal, because with understanding the impact, we can deal with this thing better. Therefore, Chair, we should not waste more time on this. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So as I understand, the majority of the committee supports, and I see that Colombia agrees with this approach. So we can adopt the paragraph 6 of this resolution. I see no objections. Adopted. So now we move on to the point 7x point 8, which stays like it was in the original text. Are there anybody against this paragraph or have any amendments? I see nobody, so adopted. Then we move to the paragraph 9 and 10, which are proposed for deletion because this paragraph in the previous resolution recommended what to do when the site is inscribed in list of danger. We didn't inscribe this site in list of danger and recommended the state party to make the assessment with the ICOMOS, and so logically it would be good to delete these two paragraphs. Are there anybody against such approach? I see none. So we delete paragraph 9 and 10. So now we move to the last paragraph, which X paragraph 11, now paragraph 8. Further requests the state party to submit to the World Heritage Center by 1st February 2013 a report on the state of conservation of the property and on the implementation of the above for examination by the World Heritage Committee in its 37th session in 2013, full stop. Is anybody against such formulation of the paragraph? I see no objection, so adopted. Now we have to adopt the whole resolution. The resolution 36,7b.103 is adopted as amended. Adopted. Thank you very much. So now we move on to the state of conservation, to the African sites.
And they want to change the order, Lamu, Mali, and then.
So now we will discuss the Lamu Old Town, Kenya, Resolution 36,7b.43. See the document WHC 12/36.com/7b. World Heritage Center, floor is yours.
Merci Madame la Présidente. Le rapport soumis à l'attention des membres du comité est donc disponible en page 97 de la version française du document 7B et en page 91 de la version anglaise du même document. Depuis la préparation de ce rapport, le Centre du patrimoine mondial n'a pas reçu de nouvelles informations. Néanmoins, il est important de rappeler les principales préoccupations qui sont exprimées et qui concernent les projets d'aménagement du corridor Lamu-Sud-Soudan-Éthiopie et celui du projet de construction du port de Lamu dans la baie de Manda. En effet, les différentes études d'impact environnemental et d'impact sur le patrimoine n'ont pas été fournies au Centre du patrimoine mondial, ni la documentation technique demandée par le comité dans ses précédentes décisions. L'imminence de ces projets, s'ils étaient réalisés, sans l'étude de ces documents par le Centre du patrimoine mondial et l'ICOMOS, affecterait irréversiblement la valeur universelle exceptionnelle du bien. Le projet de décision se trouve en page 100 de la version française et en page 94 de la version anglaise. ICOMOS a également un commentaire.
Thank you very much. ICOMOS, floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chair. ICOMOS is concerned about the state of conservation of the property. The recommendations made by the 2009 mission have had a limited rate of implementation. To date, the boundaries of the property and the gazetted buffer zones and the management plan have not been submitted. The lack of officially submitted information on the Lapset Corridor project is also a cause of concern. From what is publicly available, it is considered that the large infrastructure developments foreseen can have a significant impact on the environment and on the property. However, in order to identify the rate and extent of these impacts and to identify alternatives for the state party, information on the scope, location, and implementation schedule is required, as noted in the State of Conservation report submitted for consideration for the committee. Environmental and social impact assessments and heritage impact assessments are also needed, not only for the Lamu port, but also for the full scope of the project. Until this information is available for review, ICOMOS recommends that work be halted so no irreversible impacts to OUV occur. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. Dear colleagues, floor is open. Who wants to take the floor? I see nobody, so we can move on to the draft decision. Reporter, do we have any amendments to the draft decision? No, reporter has no amendments to this decision. Senegal, floor is yours.
Merci Madame la Présidente. Je voudrais juste qu'on donne à l'État partie la possibilité de s'exprimer sur ce projet-là. Merci.
Thank you very much. Kenya, floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Madam President. We want to thank World Heritage Center, the committee, as well as ICOMOS for continually advising us on the management of Lamu. Madam President, the Lamu Lapset project is about 20 kilometers away from the World Heritage property, as well as the buffer zones. The heritage impact assessments, as well as the environmental impact assessments, are foreseen within the feasibility studies. And the Kenya government has already incorporated all conservation institutions, including the National Museums of Kenya, to map out all the heritage sites within the Lamu archipelago, not just the World Heritage Site, but also those that are covered by the national legislation. Kenya State Party, therefore, would be willing to provide all this information in the next reporting cycle. Thank you very much, Madam President.
Thank you very much. We move on to the Senegal. You have something to, no? So we move on to the draft decision. So are there any objection of the draft decision which you see before you? Senegal, please.
Oui, merci Madame la Présidente. S'il s'avère que l'État partie a pris toutes les dispositions annoncées, et s'il s'avère que cette infrastructure est à 20 km de la zone tampon, le Sénégal pense qu'il n'est pas utile de garder le dernier paragraphe du point 10, c'est-à-dire à partir de enfin d'envisager.
Thank you very much, South Africa.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, South African delegation is aligning itself with the comment by Mali regarding paragraph 10. Chair, it has been clear from the information from the center and advisory body that there's a lot of information missing in order to inform this committee on a right decision. No boundaries clarified, no buffer zone clarified. The project is 20 kilometers away from the site. Therefore, state party needs more time for this. We cannot support paragraph 10. Therefore, we would like that paragraph amended or deleted. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Colombia.
Gracias, señora presidenta. Nosotros queremos apoyar la propuesta que hizo Senegal. Efectivamente, si dicen que el Estado parte ha producido todos los documentos y ha estado haciendo su trabajo, para ser consistentes con nuestras decisiones, en el mismo caso de Montenegro, este tipo de amenazas, cuando el Estado parte está trabajando con el centro, no lo creemos pertinente. Gracias.
Thank you very much. Estonia. Estonia, please, floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chair. May I draw your attention to the fact that the question, what was posed, was not specific, and the state party used the chance for the advocacy. Thank you, Madam.
Thank you very much, Mali. Floor is yours.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. Madame la Présidente, suite à l'exposé du représentant du Centre du patrimoine mondial, il ressort que l'État parti du Kenya est de bonne volonté, et nous venons juste d'assister à nous avons un projet qui n'a même pas encore démarré et qui est un peu loin du site. On parle d'une vingtaine de kilomètres du site. Donc je souscris parfaitement à ce qu'a dit mon collègue du Sénégal, à savoir la suppression de la dernière partie du 10. Merci.
Thank you very much. If I see no Ethiopia, please, floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think considering that the project is not yet active and they are working in cooperation with the center, I don't see why we need to consider paragraph 10. So if we possibly can think of deletion of this paragraph. Thank you.
Thank you very much. United Arab Emirates.
شكرا سيد الرئيس. الإمارات توافق على مقترح السنغال والدول المؤيدة لهذا المقترح من انطلاقا من أننا لا نلاحظ أن هناك تعقيدا كبيرا في هذا المسألة. لا زال الأمر قيد التعاون بين الجهات الاستشارية والدولة الطرف، ونثق بأن هذا التعاون إذا أعطيت الدولة فرصة سيصل إلى نتيجة مرضية. شكرا.
Thank you very much. Serbia.
La Serbie souscrit à ce qui a été dit par les délégations qui nous ont précédés et on pense qu'il faut biffer la dernière partie, soit biffer, soit amender encore. Mais je pense qu'il n'y a pas besoin d'une longue discussion. Merci.
Thank you very much. If the other countries want to support this, so maybe we will not discuss more. I would like to ask who is against such proposal. I see nobody, so we can just adopt the paragraph 10 of this resolution and then adopt the whole resolution. So I will quote, also request the state party to submit to the World Heritage Center by 1st February 2013 a detailed report on the state of conservation of the property and the implementation of the above for examination by the World Heritage Committee at its 7th session in 2013. Yes, Colombia, please.
Simply that I would appreciate if they put Colombia as supporting that.
Of
Thank
course.
you.
So, are there any objection? I see none, so paragraph adopted. So now we have to adopt the full resolution. Resolution 36,7b.43 is adopted as amended. Adopted. Thank you very much. Now we move on to the other item, World Heritage Properties of Mali. It's 36,7b.106. Document WHC 12/36.com/7b.ed. World Heritage Properties of Mali. So now I give the floor to the representative of World Heritage Center. Floor is yours.
Merci Madame la Présidente. Le 1er avril 2012, la région du Mali a été occupée par des mouvements rebelles et groupes armés. Cette région abrite 2 des 4 biens du patrimoine mondial, à savoir Tombouctou et le tombeau des Askia. Face à cette situation, et suite à un appel lancé à l'UNESCO par le gouvernement du Mali, la directrice générale, Mme Irina Bokova, a dépêché une mission de haut niveau au Mali du 18 au 20 mai dernier. Je reviendrai un peu plus tard sur les résultats de cette mission. Pour ce qui concerne le bien de Tombouctou, comme vous pouvez le constater sur la diapositive qui est actuellement affichée, le mausolée Sidi Mahmoud et le mausolée Tamba, 2 des 16 mausolées qui composent le bien du patrimoine mondial, ont été endommagés et profanés par l'un des groupes armés en Sardine. Comme vous pouvez le voir sur la gauche de l'écran, la porte et les fenêtres ont été arrachées. Le rideau blanc qui sépare la sépulture du lieu de recueillement a été brûlé, ainsi que les stèles du cimetière détruites. Le mausolée Tamba Tamba, lui, est situé dans le camp militaire qui est actuellement occupé par le groupe armé, comme vous le voyez, qui n'est pas loin de la mosquée de Djingareber, une des importantes mosquées du bien du patrimoine mondial. Je vous informe également que le centre Ahmed Baba, construit avec le soutien du gouvernement de l'Afrique du Sud, un peu plus haut au niveau de la carte de la ville, censé abriter plus de 30 000 manuscrits, est également occupé par le groupe islamiste en Sardine. Diapo suivante. Pour ce qui est du tombeau des Askia, situé dans la ville de Gao, cette ville est entièrement contrôlée par les groupes islamistes et aucune gestion n'est désormais possible. Suite à la mission de l'UNESCO de mai 2012, le Mali envisage très rapidement d'adhérer au 2e protocole de 1999, la Convention 1954. Le Mali a également déposé une demande d'assistance internationale afin de mettre en œuvre les actions urgentes de formation au suivi de l'état de conservation par le biais des ONG humanitaires qui interviennent dans le cadre du corridor humanitaire, mais également des actions de formation à l'armée malienne et de sensibilisation de la société civile à l'importance de ne pas détruire ce patrimoine mondial. Le 20 mai 2012, l'État partie a adressé une autre lettre à la directrice générale de l'UNESCO lui demandant de transmettre au comité du patrimoine mondial son souhait de voir les biens de Tombouctou et du tombeau des Askia inscrits sur la liste du patrimoine mondial en péril. Enfin, le Centre du patrimoine mondial et l'ICOMOS sont d'avis qu'à raison de la situation de conflit armé qui prévaut dans cette région, les conditions optimales de leur protection ne sont plus réunies et ceux-ci sont menacés par un danger prouvé, précis et imminent. Nous confirmons donc la nécessité pour le comité de considérer inscrire ces deux biens sur la liste du patrimoine mondial en péril. Le projet de décision se trouve en page 231 de la version française et en page 216 de la version anglaise. ICOMOS souhaite également faire un commentaire.
Thank you. ICOMOS, floor is yours.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. L'ICOMOS est favorable à la demande de l'État partie d'inscrire les biens de Tombouctou et de Tombeau de Askia sur la liste du patrimoine mondial en péril, ainsi que les mesures que l'État partie a prises pour assurer la conservation de ces biens. Nous soutenons la demande d'assistance internationale pour le renforcement des capacités et nous continuerons de coopérer et d'assister à l'État partie dans l'élaboration d'un plan d'action et la mise en œuvre de mesures pour faire face aux conditions actuelles. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you very much. So, dear colleague, floor is open. What will be your proposal? South Africa, floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chair. South African delegation shares UNESCO Director General Irina Bokova's deep concern about the possible consequences of ongoing armed conflict on the cultural World Heritage Site Timbuktu and Tomb of Askia in Gao. The recent takeover of these cities by the Tuareg rebels and Islamic groups could have damaging effect on the management and conservation of the mosques, the mausoleum, and the tomb in Timbuktu and Gao. The government of South Africa and Mali has worked together to conserve the important collection of manuscripts held at the Ahmed Baba Institute in Timbuktu. This visionary project culminated in the building of a new library and archives for the Institute to be presented to the people of Mali. In addition, Chair, to this program, academics at the University of Cape Town in South Africa have set up an initiative named the Timbuktu Manuscript Project, preserving Timbuktu manuscripts. The South African delegation is concerned about the impact of the armed conflict on the World Heritage Site in Mali and the manuscripts stored in Timbuktu. The legacy of these sites and documents is invaluable for the identity not only of the Mali people, but for all of us in our attempt to reconnect with our rich African heritage. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Senegal, floor is yours.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. Le Sénégal adhère bien sûr à ce que l'Afrique du Sud vient de dire et voudrait juste apporter deux précisions. Au point 9, concernant l'appel lancé aux pays frontaliers, on a oublié de préciser que le Sénégal est aussi un pays frontalier du Mali. Donc il faut ajouter le Sénégal comme pays frontalier. Ensuite, je pense qu'il faudrait peut-être aller plus loin en demandant à l'ensemble de ces pays frontaliers de se réunir avec les collègues maliens afin qu'ils nous fassent un point sur les biens qui risquent de se retrouver rapidement dans les circuits de trafic illicite. Je voudrais aussi ajouter un point qui est vraiment important pour nous tous Africains, c'est-à-dire que les biens conservés à Tombouctou sont des biens qui participent à l'histoire générale de l'Afrique. On a souvent pensé que les sources de l'histoire africaine locale sont exclusivement orales. Elles ne le sont pas. À Tombouctou sont conservés des manuscrits qui parlent de l'histoire générale de l'Afrique en utilisant simplement le caractère arabe pour parler en Peul, en Haoussa, en Soninké, en Songhai, etc., etc. Et ça, c'est de l'histoire écrite de l'Afrique dont nous avons besoin et qui est aujourd'hui profondément en danger. Merci, Madame.
Thank you very much. France, floor is yours.
Merci, Madame le Président. La situation à Tombouctou, qui est l'un des cœurs spirituels de l'Afrique, est claire. La situation est catastrophique. L'État parti nous a lancé un appel au secours. La France soutient le projet de décision. Je vous remercie.
Thank you very much. Algeria.
Merci Madame la Présidente. Donc l'Algérie soutient la sage proposition de l'ICOMOS sur la demande du Mali. Merci.
Thank you very much. Germany.
Merci beaucoup, Madame la Présidente. Germany also supports the draft. We appeal to all parties concerned, governmental and non-governmental, to protect their own heritage. We have not a lot of African heritage which survived up to this day, which is in monumental or in manuscript version, and this is a jewel to mankind. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Colombia.
Gracias, señora Presidenta. Nosotros igualmente queremos apoyar el draft decision como está presentado. Y como dijo la representante de ICOMOS, darle ayuda internacional, pero que igualmente pidan ayuda al Fondo de Emergencia de la UNESCO. Creo que es muy importante. Gracias.
Ethiopia, floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ethiopia supports the draft as it is, as the threat is, which needs attention. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Switzerland.
Merci beaucoup, Madame la Présidente. La Suisse aussi, bien entendu, appuie le projet de résolution. Nous condamnons fortement la destruction de ces biens et déplorons la violence contre les vies humaines et contre les témoins du passé qui en font partie. Madame la Présidente, j'aimerais ici très sincèrement féliciter l'État partie de Mali pour sa décision d'inscrire ces biens sur la liste en péril. Je crois que ça, c'est une preuve d'ailleurs de la juste utilisation des moyens dont s'est doté le comité. Merci beaucoup. Et je le fais en référence aussi, surtout après les longues discussions que nous avons eues sur d'autres biens et d'autres sites. Merci, Madame la Présidente.
Thank you very much. United Arab Emirates, floor is yours.
شكرا سيدة الرئيسة. الإمارات تنضم إلى من سبقنا في الحديث لتأييد طلب مالي وتؤكد على ما أشارت إليه مندوبة كولومبيا أن التأييد لوضع هذا الموقع على قائمة هذه المواقع على قائمة الخطر يجب أن يرتفع إلى مستوى التعاون من أجل تقديم الدعم والعون لصون وحماية هذه المواقع من ما تعرضت له من الأخطار. شكرا.
Thank you very much. I hope, I suppose that our discussion is closed, so I would give the floor to the State Party Mali. Floor is yours.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. Comprenez en ce moment l'émotion qui étreint l'État partie du Mali pour cette décision qui vient d'être prise et qui nous engage davantage face à nos responsabilités. Et reconnaissant donc toute la portée de la décision qui vient d'être prise, nous voudrions sincèrement remercier le comité et tous ceux qui, de près ou de loin, ont contribué à la préparation de cette décision, tous ceux qui, de près ou de loin, sont également prêts à nous accompagner pour sortir de ce péril. Je vous remercie.
Thank you very much. Please put the draft decision on the screen. So, as I understand, Senegal made some amendment to the point 9. So, Senegal proposed to go beyond this appeal to the state parties or or you consider it will be enough? Can the reporter help us? Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. I don't want to read the mind of our distinguished colleagues of Senegal, but if I understood correctly, first they want to include in the list of countries the reference to Senegal, which is another country which has frontiers with Mali, first of all. And second, the delegation of Senegal proposed to have a stronger language referring the cooperation that must be accomplished between these countries in order to combat the illicit traffic of cultural objects that are related to the properties in Mali. So maybe, well, first I will suggest, if you allow me, Madam Chairperson, to include after illicit traffic of cultural objects, if that is accepted by the committee, first to reinforce the link, and if the delegation of Senegal would like to make another proposal, as they mentioned.
Senegal, floor is yours.
Voilà. Merci Madame la Présidente. Nous voulions juste ajouter un segment de phrase qui engage ces États à tenir dans les meilleurs délais possibles un atelier technique sur les modalités de coordination de cette lutte.
Switzerland, floor is yours.
Merci Madame la Présidente. Écoutez, avec tout le respect que j'ai pour mon collègue du Sénégal, et je pense que son idée est très bonne en fait, mais je crois que c'est quelque chose qui appartient aux pays qui sont justement mentionnés là. Je pense que le comité peut effectivement lancer un appel, mais je doute que nous soyons habilités à demander ou à proposer ou à suggérer, que sais-je, à ces pays de faire un tel atelier. Je crois que l'initiative leur appartient. Je pense que le texte tel qu'il apparaît maintenant à l'écran est bon, et si le Sénégal le souhaite, c'est en dehors de cette enceinte qu'il doit se mettre en contact avec les autres pays pour voir s'il y a un accord pour ce type d'atelier. Merci Madame la Présidente.
Thank you very much. So, United Arab Emirates.
شكرا سيد الرئيس. نحن نتفق مع ما طرحه مندوب سويسرا. تحاشي كلمة إلزام الدول، ولكن توصي اللجنة أو تتوجه اللجنة بنداء إلى الدول المجاورة للتنسيق فيما بينها للحد من التجارة غير المشروعة بالممتلكات الثقافية.
Thank you very much, Colombia.
Gracias, señora presidenta. Simplemente para hacer una anotación que podría ser pertinente, ustedes dirán, al decir and combat the illicit traffic of cultural objects linked to this property, si pudiéramos decir combat the illicit traffic of cultural objects, in particular those linked to these properties. Gracias, señora presidenta.
Thank you very much, Algeria.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. Nous adhérons à cette proposition de lancer un appel aux États parties frontaliers du Mali. Et nous avons toujours eu, avec les États frontaliers du Mali, une coopération les États frontaliers avec notre pays, une coopération dans le domaine de la préservation du patrimoine et de la lutte contre le trafic illicite. Nous voudrions tout de même apporter une petite modification, correction à ce point 9. Nous proposons, puisqu'il est fait état que l'Algérie, le Burkina Faso, la Côte d'Ivoire, la Guinée, la Mauritanie, le Niger et le Sénégal sont identifiés comme États parties frontaliers du Mali, nous proposons de biffer la mention à la région nord du Mali. Et sur le reste, nous n'avons pas d'objection tel qu'il est, tel que la proposition est rédigée maintenant. Merci, Madame la Présidente.
No, but it is in the northern region of Mali. The problem. Do you want to take it off? Oh, dear, he wants to take it off. Northern.
Oui, oui, nous voudrions biffer la région nord du Mali puisqu'il y a un double emploi. Nous parlons d'État partie frontalier du Mali et nous parlons de patrimoine mondial, de préservation des biens du patrimoine mondial du Mali et de la lutte contre le trafic illicite d'une manière générale.
Thank you very much, but here in this resolution we speak about the preservation of the sites in the northern part of Mali, not about the northern countries.
Madame la Présidente, nous insistons pour biffer de la région nord du Mali. Nous avons expliqué notre position. Merci.
Sénégal, please.
Oui, et je pense que puisque nos amis maliens sont là, il faudrait qu'ils donnent leur opinion sur cette question.
United Arab Emirates.
نحن ندرك أن المشكلة حاصلة الآن في شمال مالي، لكن فيما يتعلق بهذه النقطة محاربة الاتجار بالممتلكات الثقافية ممكن أن تحصل في غرب مالي وفي جنوب مالي. هؤلاء ناس لصوص أو محترفين في هذه التجارة، لذلك لا نحصرها على المنطقة الشمالية. أنا أتفق مع الجزائر في هذا.
Thank you very much. I understand that everybody expressed their opinion. Now I give the floor to Mali. Please, floor is yours.
Oui, merci Madame la Présidente. Bon, je ne sais pas, laisser région nord du Mali, tout le monde sait effectivement que le problème est posé au niveau des sites des régions nord du Mali, mais on peut peut-être laisser au Mali, tout simplement. Parce que les régions centres ne sont pas tout à fait encore épargnées. Surtout hier encore, il y a eu des événements. Ça peut arriver, parce que Djenné, Pays de Gon, ce n'est pas très loin, c'est à 100 km à peu près. On peut laisser ça comme ça. Merci. Mais effectivement, c'est d'abord, prioritairement, tout le monde sait que c'est les sites dans cette région-là qui sont très menacés de destruction. Merci.
Thank you very much, but dear colleagues, it seems to me that now this paragraph, reflects all opinion. So, with your permission, I will read, and we go on to the adoption. So, launches an appeal to the frontier state parties to Mali, Algeria, Burkina Faso, Côte d'Ivoire, Guinea, Mauritania, Niger, Senegal, to cooperate in the preparation of a joint conservation strategy from World Heritage Property of Mali and combat the illicit traffic of cultural objects, in particular those linked to the properties. So, do you have any objections? I see none, so adopted. Now we have to adopt the whole resolution. 36.7b point 106. Are there any objection? I see none, so adopted. Thank you very much. And now we go on to the ICROM, please, floor is yours.
Merci Madame la Présidente. Je voudrais informer les honorables délégués à la suite de cette décision que l'ICROM est en train d'organiser à partir du 1er octobre un cours, c'est la 3e session en réalité d'un cours, destiné à la formation d'experts dans le cadre de la lutte contre le trafic illicite et dans le cadre de la sauvegarde du patrimoine dans des situations de conflit. Je voudrais donc dire qu'à cet égard, votre décision va nous aider peut-être à avoir aussi un candidat du Mali pour le cours qui va commencer au mois d'octobre 2012 à Rome. Merci Madame la Présidente.
Thank you very much for this important information. So now we move on to the other item, Mapungubwe, Cultural Landscape, South Africa. Resolution 36.7b.48, document WHC 12/36.com/7b.add. World Heritage Center, floor is yours.
Merci Madame la Présidente. Le rapport qui est soumis à votre examen se trouve en page 110 de la version française et en page 106 de la version anglaise du document 7b.add. À la demande du comité, une mission du Centre du patrimoine mondial et de l'ICOMOS a visité le bien en janvier 2012 pour étudier l'évaluation d'impact sur le patrimoine préparée par l'État partie, ainsi que l'impact potentiel du projet d'extraction houlière de grande envergure à l'est du bien, comme montré sur la diapo qui vous est actuellement projetée. La mission devait également examiner les progrès accomplis vis-à-vis de la délimitation d'une zone tampon à l'est du bien, comme identifié au moment de l'inscription, ainsi que l'état de conservation générale du bien. La mission devait aussi étudier d'éventuelles mesures d'atténuation si elle concluait que le projet minier ne menaçait pas de façon irréversible la valeur universelle exceptionnelle du bien. Permettez-moi également de vous informer que cette mission avait été initialement prévue à la fin du mois de novembre 2011 sur invitation de l'État partie. Elle a été différée au mois de janvier 2012 à la demande de l'ICOMOS qui souhaitait avoir plus de temps pour étudier l'étude d'impact sur le patrimoine avant la mission. Diapo suivante.
Thank you very much.
La mission a découvert que l'usine de traitement de la houille était à 95% achevée et que les activités d'extraction avaient repris au sein de la première parcelle d'extraction à ciel ouvert de 50 hectares. La mission a noté que l'impact visuel de cette extraction, même limité de la carrière à ciel ouvert, que la société Coal of Africa envisage pour l'ensemble de ses activités d'exploitation dans la zone sud-est était déjà considérable. Du point de vue de la mission, la logique défendue par la société Coal of Africa d'opter pour une mine à ciel ouvert dans la zone sud-est et souterraine dans la zone nord-ouest, alors que la veine de charbon se trouve plus ou moins à la même profondeur dans les deux secteurs, ne se justifiait pas. La mission ayant conclu que la principale menace pour l'environnement du bien était le procédé d'extraction à ciel ouvert, car son impact sur le paysage mettrait en danger le continuum culturel entre le paysage du bien et celui de son environnement, a donc considéré qu'aucune atténuation n'était possible pour réduire l'impact sur la valeur universelle exceptionnelle d'une exploitation à ciel ouvert. Par conséquent, le Centre du patrimoine mondial et l'ICOMOS recommandent que les opérations minières à ciel ouvert soient stoppées à l'actuelle surface et que toute exploitation future au sein de cette zone qui aurait dû faire partie de la zone tampon lors de l'inscription du site en 2003 soit réalisée en souterrain. Le projet de décision se trouve en page 115 de la version française et en page 106 de la version anglaise. ICOMOS souhaite faire un commentaire également.
Thank you very much. ICOMOS, floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The mining issue being addressed relates to an area of land, as you've heard, to the east of the property that is not within the buffer zone, as the current buffer zone only protects part of the land around the property within South Africa. This arrangement dates back to the time of inscription, when the property was inscribed without the boundaries of the buffer zone being delineated. Even though at the time of inscription there was an understanding that the buffer zone around the property would be designated and further supported by a larger trans-frontier conservation area with Botswana and Zimbabwe, but this has not been put in place. The current buffer zone, which is smaller than envisaged at the time of inscription, has also not been submitted to the committee for approval, even though the 2010 mission recommended this. As you have heard, at the last committee, mining work had been suspended to allow for a full compliance with legislation and also for an HIA to be undertaken. The mission in January was meant to assess the results of the completed HIA, but found that work on mining had already been resumed. The mission looked closely at the impact of that mining and the mitigation methods suggested in the Heritage Impact Assessment. In ICOMOS's view, recording archaeological sites before destruction, as suggested in the Heritage Impact Assessment, is in no way adequate to protect the area in question. Mapungubwe was inscribed for its reflection of the largest kingdom in southern Africa between 900 and 1300 AD, and for the way the property presents an unrivaled picture of the development of social and political structures over some 400 years. The wealth of Mapungubwe came from its trade with the Indian Ocean ports along the Limpopo River, and the whole river basin is a highly sensitive archaeological area that needs protection for its relationship with the property. It is this most sensitive area that is currently unprotected and within which open-cast mining is proposed. The recommendations before you are therefore to put in place protection for this area through the establishment of an approved buffer zone, to halt open-cast mining after the first 50-hectare area has been completed next year, and to ensure that all future mining operations are underground with appropriate measures being put in place for stability, vibrations, access, etc. The one other key recommendation is to address the serious deterioration of the archaeological remains of the Leopard's Kopje site that was recognized by the mission. This is the second of the 3 capitals on the property and is a crucial attribute of outstanding universal value. Mapungubwe was inscribed as a cultural landscape, and ICOMOS considers that it is essential that its protection and management is landscape-based, recognizing the interrelationship between the substantial number of individual archaeological sites, which together provide outstanding evidence of this early important trading kingdom. ICOMOS is ready and willing to support the State Party in addressing these challenges. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So, floor is open for discussion. Please raise your nameplates. Mali, floor is yours.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. Madame la Présidente, en écoutant les interventions du représentant du Centre du patrimoine mondial et de l'ICOMOS, et l'État parti également, parce que nous avons reçu un certain nombre d'informations, il nous revient qu'il y a une incompréhension. Il y a une incompréhension entre l'État parti et l'organe consultatif, parce qu'il y a une incompréhension autour, si vous voulez, du site lui-même. L'État parti, selon les renseignements reçus, nous apprend que la carte utilisée par la mission conjointe n'est pas la carte réelle. Et de ce fait, l'État parti suppose que nous sommes loin du site, l'activité est loin du site et que ça n'a pas d'impact sur le site. Ensuite, toujours pour les problèmes de délimitation, l'organe consultatif nous dit qu'au moment du classement, il n'y a pas eu de délimitation ou bien de zone de délimitation précise, alors qu'il y a un problème autour de ce qui est appelé la zone tampon. Pour l'État partie, cette zone tampon ne correspond pas exactement à ce qui est supposé être zone tampon selon l'organe consultatif. Donc, pour l'État partie, il n'y a pas d'impact. Il n'y a pas d'impact de l'activité sur le site. Je vous remercie. Et sur ce point, je souhaiterais avoir également des clarifications de l'État partie. Je vous remercie.
Thank you very much. Who else would like to take the floor? If nobody, so I will give the floor to the rapporteur who received the amendments to the draft decision. Floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. Indeed, we have received proposed amendments from the part of the delegation of India concerning paragraphs 4 and paragraph 5 of the draft decision 48. So we propose, Madam Chairperson, maybe you can go along with paragraphs 1, 2, 3, which have no amendment, and then the delegates can consider amendments on paragraph 4 and 5 who are now appearing in the screen.
Thank you very much. So can we consider paragraph 1, 2, and 3 of the proposed resolution adopted? I see no objection, so it's adopted. Now we move on to the paragraph 4. Please, floor is yours, Rapporteur.
I will read, Madam Chairperson, the text as appears now with the amendments. Notes that the mining activities as planned will not have direct impact on the outstanding universal value. The indirect impact will be minimal and can be mitigated as concluded by the Heritage Impact Assessment.
Thank you very much. Dear colleagues, who has any objection to this amendment? Switzerland. Floor is yours.
Merci Madame la Présidente. Nous ne sommes pas d'accord avec cette affirmation que cette exploitation minière à ciel ouvert dans les abords immédiats du bien n'aurait pas d'impact sur la valeur universelle du bien, et nous aimerions peut-être demander à la délégation indienne la rationalité de cette réflexion, parce que selon nous, les explications de l'ICOMOS étaient parfaitement claires en ce qui concerne les impacts sur ce bien. D'autant plus que dans cette situation, il y a une claire alternative qui est l'exploitation souterraine, qui pourrait donc enlever une grande pression sur la valeur universelle du bien. Et si on se permet de faire une pesée d'intérêt entre les deux points qui sont en jeu, vous avez de l'un côté, vous avez la conservation du bien avec sa valeur et son environnement qui soutient cette valeur, et de l'autre côté, vous avez les intérêts d'une compagnie privée de maximiser la rentabilité d'une exploitation. Il me semble que notre comité devait pencher pour la conservation du bien et exiger que l'exploitation soit faite de manière souterraine et de cette manière, le mieux protéger le bien et son environnement. Merci, Madame la Présidente.
Thank you very much. Estonia, floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think we'd just like to echo what Switzerland said. Thank you.
Thank you very much. India, please take the floor to give the rationale of this amendment.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is actually simply a statement of fact. The distinguished ambassador of Switzerland has brought in two dimensions. One is the decision on whether technology X or technology Y should be used, and all across the world and consistently in the debates over the past few days, we have left decisions on commercial operations, on technology, to people and organizations and entities that should do them. But the issue really is of the impact, and our understanding is that beyond the lack of clarity, the lack of common understanding, and between the advisory body and the state party, that there is no direct impact on the outstanding universal value. You are outside the buffer zone. You can enlarge the buffer zone, but that is a matter of study and common assessment, something that the state party should agree to. Is it that all mining all across areas, and you can enlarge them, should be open cast and should not be open cast? So this is simply a statement of what is the position. Now, what you would like the position to be, the advisory body, that is a separate issue. And you can make that recommendation and we can look at it. But at this point of time, I would suggest that we objectively go with what the state party is saying. And I thought I understood from their statements, and I would like to offer them the floor, Madam Chair, if you so permit, to elaborate on this.
Thank you very much. I will, of course, give the floor, but in the end of our discussion. Mali, floor is yours.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. Je suis entièrement d'accord avec la partie suisse lorsque on nous dit qu'on doit conserver sans qu'il y ait perturbation de la conservation du site. Je suis entièrement d'accord. Mais je reviens encore sur ce que j'avais dit sur mon premier propos, Madame la Présidente. Je pense qu'il y a une incompréhension entre l'État partie et l'organe consultatif au sujet des cartes utilisées. Selon les informations que nous avons reçues, la mission conjointe qui avait été organisée en cette année, en 2012, a utilisé des cartes inadéquates, des cartes qui sont dépassées. Et ceci fait que, pour ce qui est de la délimitation de la zone, il y a une incompréhension entre l'État partie et l'ICOMOS. Et sur ce, c'est ce qui explique d'ailleurs, si vous voulez, cette contradiction. Lorsque le numéro 4, le premier numéro 4A dit qu'il y a impact sur les sites, la suggestion ou l'amendement fait par l'Inde dit qu'il n'y a pas d'impact. Moi, je pense qu'il n'y a pas d'impact parce que tout simplement, on est loin du site. Et en la matière, si on peut le faire, on pourrait également écouter l'État partie pour apporter plus de clarification. Merci.
So, Germany, floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We are deeply concerned on the ongoing mining, and we appeal to the state party that technical instruments, modern technical instruments, are used for mining, and that means in this case underground mining. Thank you very much. Therefore, we are in line with the statement of our colleagues of Switzerland.
Thank you very much. Russian Federation, floor is yours.
Спасибо, уважаемая госпожа председатель. Как и в многих других вопросах, в данном вопросе есть ключевая проблема, решив которую будет понятно, в чем суть разногласий. В данном случае речь идет о достоверности карты. Мне кажется, что разъяснения, которые были даны Мали, и предложения, которые сделаны Индией, вполне понятны. И с этой точки зрения мы хотели бы поддержать поправку Индии и одновременно заслушать выступление страны-члена. Спасибо.
Thank you very much. Switzerland.
Merci Madame la Présidente. Nous aussi, nous aimerions avoir une clarification sur cette question de limite, mais nous aimerions la poser au centre du patrimoine mondial pour savoir où sont exactement ces limites du bien et où se trouve par rapport à ces limites cette exploitation à ciel ouvert en kilomètres par rapport à la limite du bien qui a été enregistrée ou qui est considérée en tant que valable aujourd'hui. Et nous prions le centre de nous répondre à cette question. Merci Madame la Présidente.
Thank you very much. Who will answer the question? ICOMOS or World Heritage Center? Yes, please take the floor.
Merci Madame la Présidente. Je voudrais simplement informer les distingués membres du comité que le Centre du patrimoine mondial, en fait, n'a jamais reçu de carte officiellement car le site a été inscrit en 2003 sans zone tampon. Par contre, il y avait eu des informations qui avaient été communiquées à la date de l'inscription au comité et je pense que ICOMOS serait mieux placé pour donner plus de clarifications. Si Madame la Présidente vous permettez qu'ICOMOS clarifie.
Thank you, Madam Chair. May I just clarify? The Mapungubwe was recommended for deferral when it came to the committee in 2003, but the committee chose to inscribe it. The difficulty was some information was lacking. The boundaries of the property were not adequately delineated to the south, and although a buffer zone was described in the nomination dossier, no maps were provided, and maps have not been provided since. The area that we're talking about, where this mining is taking place, was within the buffer zone that was described and indicated at the time of inscription, but we have not had maps supplied to clarify that. A buffer zone has been delineated by the state party, but this has not been submitted to the committee, and indeed it is smaller than the buffer zone that was indicated at the time of inscription. So I think it's not so much a misunderstanding, but we have yet to get the agreed maps to reflect what was agreed at the time of inscription. The other issue is the question of referring to the maps that were used by the mission, which, as far as I'm aware, and I think the World Heritage Centre too, reflects very clearly what was agreed at the time of inscription. As I have the floor, Madam Chair, may I just make one other technical comment? That is the question of the technical issues related to mining. The mission expert was a mining expert that went on the mission. But I also would like to say that what was in the SOC report in connection with the technical issues was what was actually said by the company who is mining at Veli. They're proposing to exploit coal reserves partly by open cast mining, partly through underground mining. The underground mining is said by the coal company to be undertaken to protect the citrus farms, but the same coal seam runs across the whole area, and the company told the mission that there's no technical reason why underground mining cannot be undertaken across the whole site. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So, Senegal, floor is yours.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. Comme vous tous, nous sommes bien sûr préoccupés par ce qui pourrait advenir de la VIE si jamais cette exploitation se déroulait comme il est expliqué. Cependant, nous pensons qu'il y a un certain nombre de préalables qu'il faudrait essayer de remplir pour en arriver à des décisions fortes. Premièrement, nous constatons qu'il y a un quiproquo au niveau des documents et de la zone tampon. On vient de nous expliquer qu'il n'y avait pas eu de carte quand on faisait l'inscription. Je pense que c'est un problème sérieux. Aujourd'hui, il est important qu'il y ait un échange entre l'État partie, le Centre du patrimoine et les organisations consultatives pour s'entendre visuellement et cartographiquement sur cette zone tampon. Ensuite, je pense qu'il pourrait être effectivement proposé des systèmes d'exploitation qui protègent la valeur universelle exceptionnelle. Le second problème que je constate, et j'aimerais bien qu'on discute là-dessus, j'ai le sentiment qu'il y a un glissement au niveau des espaces de protection. Apparemment, il y a maintenant les sites, il y a les zones tampons et il y a les espaces polarisés par les zones tampons. De plus en plus, ces aspects visuels et polarisation au-delà de la zone tampon commencent à poser des problèmes. Et je pense qu'à l'avenir, il va falloir qu'on réfléchisse sur ces questions. En conséquence, nous nous rapprochons plus de la proposition qui a été faite par l'Inde, tout en tenant compte du fait que l'échange de documents est nécessaire. Merci.
Thank you very much. Cambodia, floor is yours.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. Ma question a été répondue en grande partie par l'ICOMOS sur les problèmes de documents et de la cartographie. Et toutefois, je voudrais appuyer la Suisse sur le point de la conservation de ce site.
Thank you very much. Serbia, floor is yours.
La Serbie souscrit tout ce qui vient d'être dit par Sénégal. Nous avons remarqué très bien quand il s'agissait tout à l'heure du site proposé par Mali qu'une étude était très bien menée par le centre. Je voudrais féliciter le Centre du patrimoine pour ce qu'on nous a présenté dans le cas de Mali. Par contre, dans ce cas, comme dans les cas précédents qu'on a eus hier, ce n'était pas le cas. Donc, dès qu'il y a une mauvaise présentation ou une doute, bien sûr que je comprends mes collègues dans le comité, on a des doutes quand on doit prendre une décision. Dès que c'est bien présenté, comme c'était fait par le centre dans le cas de Mali, on n'a pas de doute. Ici, on a des cartes qui étaient, je ne sais pas, soumises par qui, donc ce ne sont pas les cartes dont on ne peut pas être sûr que ce sont des bonnes cartes. Donc, dès qu'il y a un doute, il y a un problème. Donc, il faut réfléchir là-dessus. Et vraiment, je félicite le centre pour le cas qu'on avait tout à l'heure parce que, évidemment, on n'avait pas de problème d'appuyer la décision proposée. En ce qui concerne maintenant la proposition de Hollande, la Serbie soutient la proposition de Hollande. Et si les autres délégations ont un souci là-dessus et ils veulent changer, on peut travailler sur la décision, peut-être faire un vocabulaire compromis, etc. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you very much. India, floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think we are, the debate is now beginning to enlarge and extend. But the fact of the matter is that you don't have a commonly agreed idea on the buffer zone because you didn't then and you don't now. You don't have a commonly understood idea of the maps. You are in uncharted territory. You are, as Senegal eloquently put it, you're beginning to enlarge, you're beginning to creep the site. The core is the inscribed site. And this mine, or this mining operation, is at a distance which I understand to be a long way from it. Now, you cannot, on the basis of the information presented, take a decision and certainly not be judgmental about it. I think we should have clarity, complete clarity when a proposal is brought before the committee. Otherwise, we will spend hours doing this. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. Qatar, floor is yours.
Merci Madame la Présidente. C'est juste pour appuyer ce que vient d'être dit par l'Inde et par nos collègues de Sénégal et de Serbie. Donc je suis tout à fait d'accord qu'il faut clarifier la situation. Et merci.
Thank you very much. Estonia, floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We have the same concern about the clarity, and that's why we think that the amendment proposed for this paragraph 4 made by India is too radical from one side to the other, and if we can't reach the agreement on the text of this paragraph, we would propose to delete that full paragraph. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Switzerland.
Merci Madame la Présidente. La Suisse soutient l'Estonie dans son amendement de biffer tout le paragraphe parce que si on n'a pas clarité, effectivement, et là nous rejoignons la délégation indienne, on ne peut pas non plus affirmer qu'il n'y a pas d'impact sur la valeur universelle exceptionnelle du bien. Donc mieux ne pas avoir le paragraphe tout en entier. Merci Madame la Présidente.
Dear colleagues, is it necessary to discuss once more this? Maybe we will go directly with the last proposal and you express your opinion, but not to discuss once more, not to open the discussion, please. Germany, I will give the floor, of course. I'm in difficult situation. I can't not to give you the floor. But, you know, it seems to me that we spent a lot of time. Thank you very much. Germany, floor is yours.
No, we like to support the amendment and the remarks of Switzerland and Estonia.
Thank you very much. Algeria.
Je ne prends pas la parole, Madame la Présidente. Merci.
Mali.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. Je me pose la question de savoir si juste on peut entendre la partie sud-africaine pour nous éclairer. Merci.
Thank you very much. I hope that member states, that we finish the discussion. So now I can give the floor to South Africa. The floor is yours, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and the distinguished delegates to allow South Africa the floor. Madam Chair, we always respect this committee because this committee is like home to us in order to conserve our heritage. Madam Chair, it's not our intention to waste the time of this committee. At the same time, we don't want to say this matter supposed not to be jurisdiction of this committee, but we respect the committee. Chair, on the east of buffer zone, the report refers to the envisaged buffer zone. We agree, but the site where the mining is was never the envisaged buffer zone. If you had time, Madam Chair, we would even ask the center or the advisory body to show the map that South Africa submitted during the time of inscription. Madam Chair, during inscription, we submitted 3 properties that were clearly marked on the map. The site of the mining were never part of that dossier, Madam Chair, the site on the east that we are discussing today. Chair, on the issue of the HIA and the impact, beside the HIA, which says there will be minimal impact, which took 6 months, not 3 days. And also we did other studies, tourism impact study, social impact study, biodiversity impact study. We did all of those. They are telling the same story. Because we respect science in South Africa, we will say evidence-based science. We will be basing all our decisions on that science as we spend resources to do all those impact assessments I studied. Chair, we can say a lot, but I would like to leave it here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, dear colleagues. So I will return to the adoption of the paragraph. Yes, Switzerland.
Excusez-moi, Madame la Présidente, de reprendre la parole. On vient de soumettre un amendement qui pourra remplacer le paragraphe 4 en spécifiant la demande de clarification en ce qui concerne les limites de ce bien. Merci.
I give the floor to the rapporteur.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. We have just received from the part of the Swiss delegation a proposal for this paragraph 5, which may be a compromise solution for the committee. I will read it in French.
Excuse me. We now speak about the paragraph 4.
Yes.
Let's do it. So it was.
No, 4.
You speak. You name 5. Excuse me. Okay.
Sorry, Madam Chairperson. Paragraph 4. I will read it very slowly so interpreters can follow. Demande à l'État partie de soumettre les éléments nécessaires pour clarifier les limites du bien et sa zone tampon. I think it's clear now in the screen, Madam Chair.
So, dear colleagues, we have new proposal, very reasonable, which reflects now what we discussed. Now, now I give the floor to Malaysia.
Madam Chairman, the question was clearly answered by South Africa, the question on the mining area. The mining area is away from the property, and that was the critical issue in para 4. We support India's recommendation.
Thank you very much. Russian Federation.
Спасибо, уважаемая госпожа председатель. У меня две ремарки. Первое, я обратил внимание, что не учтена на экране наша просьба о том, что мы тоже согласны быть, поддерживаем данную поправку вслед за Индией. Второе, мне кажется, что для нас приемлема формулировка Швейцарии, но при этом условии мы хотели бы, чтобы сохранилась нынешняя форма 4-го параграфа.
Thank you very much. Senegal, floor is yours.
Merci. Merci, Madame la Présidente. Je pense que l'amendement apporté par la Suisse est très important parce qu'il rend compte de nos discussions et il nous permettra d'avoir des éléments matériels pour motiver une décision ultérieure. Merci.
Thank you very much. India, floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The spirit and context of the Swiss amendment is actually very good, but that is exactly what South Africa did. My concern is that I don't understand how the Swiss amendment is substitutive of the first. These are two different aspects. One is asking for information, one is forming an assessment, an opinion. So I don't think this amendment impacts on our and the Russian Federation and Malaysia's amendment at all. Of course the maps should be submitted. That's exactly what we are saying, that we need clarity. ICOMOS needs to know before their missions go out, since they don't seem to know where the property is or what is inside it. And I hope the same spirit will continue through the rest of the text. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. Estonia.
Thank you, Madam Chair. For us, the information provided by the state party was not convincing until we haven't seen the maps itself. So we would like to postpone for the whole paragraph of the matter to the next year until the committee has provided by the maps. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So Serbia.
La Serbie voulait s'exprimer sur l'amendement suisse, mais je ne pense pas qu'il appartient ou pourrait remplacer le paragraphe 4. Donc je pense qu'il faut avoir un autre paragraphe. Merci.
Thank you very much. We have two proposals concerning the point 4. Like it was before the Swiss and Senegal proposal. One, what you see in the screen, the other was to delete completely the paragraph 4 and replace it with the Swiss amendment. So what we will do? Mali.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. Je pense que la proposition de la Suisse, elle est bonne. On peut s'asseoir à la première partie du 4, mais en précisant que le débat sera reporté à l'année prochaine. Merci.
Thank you very much, but Swiss proposal can be a separate item, in my opinion. Serbia.
Je vous prie, Madame la Présidente, de donner la parole à la partie parce que je pense que, de nouveau, parce que je pense que les maps correctes ont été soumises au centre avant, donc, et que l'ICOMOS disposait des maps et n'utilisait pas des bonnes. Donc, je suis vraiment, là, ça devient compliqué, donc il faut vraiment qu'on a l'information qui soit correcte. Merci.
Thank you very much. State Party, you have the floor.
Thank you once again, Madam Chair and the representative delegates for allowing us second chance. We really appreciate this. The maps are available in the interest of time, Madam Chair. They are in the website. The center and the advisory bodies, they have the maps. They can show them to the representatives here. The maps South Africa submitted in 2003, and then the committee can take a decision. Therefore, there's no need to postpone this. The maps are available, all forms of maps. But the maps we can only talk to as South Africa is the one we submitted ourselves as a state party. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. So it seems to me that we have to clarify this point with ICOMOS. Please make the clarification because State Party state that they submitted the maps and you state that you don't have any maps.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We have on the screen here the map that was submitted at the time of inscription, which shows the property, but it does not show the buffer zone. And as I explained earlier, the buffer zone was described in the nomination file, but we did not have a map, and that was one of the reasons why deferral was recommended. No map for the buffer zone has subsequently been submitted, although the committee requested in 2010 that a map of the buffer zone should be provided. I also mentioned at the time of inscription that there was a lack of clarity about the southern boundary of the property, which was noted in the evaluation. And the State Party subsequently provided a map to clarify the boundary of the property in the south, so it doesn't really relate to the area we're now discussing. But ICOMOS is not aware of any other official maps being submitted. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So it means that the proposal of Switzerland is very actual for request the State Party to submit the relevant documents to clarify the delineation of the property and of its buffer zone. So Switzerland, please take the floor. You don't want, Mexico.
Gracias, señora presidenta. Lamento si tal vez mi comentario quede fuera de lugar, pero tomé la palabra en otro momento de la discusión. Quería, primero que nada, apoyar la propuesta de Suiza y Senegal de pedir al Estado parte someter los documentos que faltan para aclarar este tema, pero este debería de ser un párrafo por separado para no mezclar con el otro tema que todavía queda sin resolver, que es el de la calificación de parte del comité sobre el impacto en el valor universal. Creo que podría sugerir una propuesta para no borrar esa alusión y quedaría como sigue. El comité notes that the mining activities as planned, the committee notes that the mining activities as plans will not have direct impact, will have ya me confundí. The impact of the mining activities as planned will be minimal and can be mitigated as concluded by the Heritage Impact Assessment, que eso es lo único que conoce el comité. porque creo que en este momento la controversia es si el comité puede determinar, aparte de lo que se dice en el Heritage Impact Assessment, y creo que con una conjunción de ideas se puede solucionar y que quede la idea completa separada de pedirle al Estado parte la información adicional. Gracias, señora presidenta.
Senegal.
Merci Madame la Présidente. Je suis très confus maintenant. Je pense qu'il y a un très grand doute. Et on ne va pas fonctionner comme le tribunal de l'Inquisition. Je pense que l'ajout fait par le Mexique permet d'équilibrer la décision. Il y a un doute, un très grand doute, et je pense qu'on ne peut pas, sur la base de ce doute, prendre une décision forte et définitive. Et je crois que ce que vient de proposer le Mexique permet de couper la poire en deux. Merci.
Thank you very much. Dear colleagues, it seems to me that to add what Mexico proposed to the Switzerland proposal is unlogical a little bit. It is said already in the previous, thank you very much, Mexico, once more, please, repeat.
Sí, gracias, señora presidenta. Yo no propuse que se unieran estas dos propuestas. De hecho, yo pedí que la propuesta de Suiza se pusiera en un párrafo aparte, porque no tenía relación. Lo que yo propuse fue una manera de enmendar el párrafo 4 que está pendiente, con objeto de que se solucionara la visión de quienes creen que se debe de borrar el párrafo o quienes deben de hacerse una calificación sobre el impacto en el valor universal. No es las dos propuestas no son para el mismo párrafo, repito. Gracias, señora presidenta.
Thank you very much. And Switzerland.
Merci Madame la Présidente. Je pense qu'il y a consensus dans le comité qu'il y a besoin de clarification, de limites pour savoir où exactement est le bien, où exactement est sa zone tampon. Dès lors, nous ne pouvons pas arriver à la conclusion qu'il n'y ait pas d'impact sur la valeur universelle exceptionnelle du bien si nous ne savons pas si cette zone est dedans, dehors, au bord, etc. Donc il faut qu'on biffe complètement l'article 4 actuel avec tous les amendements qui ont été proposés, qu'on garde l'actuel article 5 et à la limite on pourrait ajouter à la fin de cet paragraphe afin de pouvoir examiner l'impact potentiel de l'exploitation minière sur la valeur universelle exceptionnelle du bien. Merci, Madame la Présidente.
So we have India, no. So we have a proposal to delete the paragraph 4 like it stands now with amendments. And we have paragraph 5, which is, it seems to me that it's more or less consensus exists, that requests the state party to submit the relevant documents to clarify the delineation of the property and of its, excuse me, please, can you put it, buffer zone, so as to assess the potential impact of the mining operation on the outstanding universal value of the property. India?
Thank you, Madam Chair. As we go on, we get into deeper and deeper waters. The intention here, as far as the state party is concerned, they're fairly clear as to what the property is. They feel they've submitted the maps, which is a good thing. ICOMOS seems to not know about the maps, so it's a little bit of a puzzle as to where they went. But you cannot put the onus of whether this will or will not impact the outstanding universal value on the property, on the state party. So this is a little asymmetrical. Nobody said, the state party did not say, the heritage impact assessment did not say that there is going to be an impact on the outstanding universal value. This is a supposition that you're making on the basis of inadequate information, on the basis of unclear maps, and this is unfair to the state party. You're bringing them into a committee, you're bringing the whole matter into a committee on the basis of inadequate information. So this is a little one-sided, and this is definitely not fair on the state party. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. With your permission, may I make this suggestion? So as I understand, concerning the Swiss proposal, it was and it is quite consensus, the following phrase: request the state party to submit the relevant documents to clarify the delineation of the property and of its buffer zone, full stop. So if you agree, so we can approve this amendment. Estonia?
Thank you, Madam Chair. We would like to have this first half together with the second half, so we support also the Swiss amendment for the second, for the addition, because they together form a logical unit. Thank you.
Thank you very much, but I now try to find the consensus. That's why we have a first part is consensual part, so the other is questioned. And especially in any case, we in all our review return to the outstanding universal value. So maybe you will agree that it will be consensual part, and in any case, we every time evaluate the agree. So I propose to adopt the paragraph 5, or it will be 4, which proposes Switzerland, Senegal, and Mexico requests the state party to submit the relevant documents to clarify the delineation of the property and of its buffer zone. Full stop. I see no objection, so adopted. So now we move on to the, please go on to the number 4, which was proposed for deletion. So if we don't have any objections, so may I consider to adopt the deletion of the paragraph 4. Adopted. So let's go further. Yes, it's paragraph 5. Now, yes, paragraph 5. So it was proposed by India to delete the paragraph and to add acknowledges that the Wil mine is not located in an area proposed or envisaged as a buffer zone at the time of inscription. It is matter of fact, so are there any objection? ICOMOS, please take the floor.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. C'est simplement pour apporter une clarification aux distingués membres du comité que, selon les informations qui ont été communiquées en 2003, effectivement, même si l'on n'avait pas de carte, la zone envisagée était censée être dans la zone tampon. Mais cette zone tampon n'a pas été clarifiée jusqu'à ce jour. Donc il est très difficile, effectivement, à ce stade, de pouvoir apprécier, et d'après les 2 missions qui se sont rendues sur le terrain, cette question particulière. Je vous remercie.
Thank you very much. India,
No, Madam Chair, I mean, this is a statement of fact. If the fact is being disputed, that is a different matter. Otherwise, this is simply replaces a judgment. That's all.
Thank you very much. Switzerland, please take the floor.
Merci Madame la Présidente. J'ai peur de ne pas bien comprendre les choses maintenant ici, parce qu'on vient d'entendre du centre que cette zone, elle se trouve exactement là où était envisagée la zone tampon au moment de l'inscription. Et la délégation indienne est d'avis que ce n'est pas vrai. Donc, comment on peut procéder dans ce cas-là? Donc, la zone tampon, lors de l'inscription, n'avait pas de limite, si j'ai bien compris, mais elle a été décrite. Et la zone en question, apparemment, elle se trouve dans cette description. Donc, peut-être nous pourrions avoir encore une fois une clarification. Comment ICOMOS, ou le Centre du patrimoine mondial, fait le lien entre description et lieu géographique à côté du bien. Merci, Madame la Présidente.
Thank you very much. Before I give the floor to another speaker, may I ask India, is it very crucial to keep this, paragraph?
Madam Chair, it is not crucial. What is crucial is to take out the value judgments before that. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. Yes, we now discuss only this amendment. Is it crucial, this amendment?
Madam Chair, if you remove the entire paragraph in its entirety, it is not crucial.
It seems to me that I didn't see an objection to remove the whole paragraph. So, Switzerland? Do you want to tell something?
Yes, merci Madame la Présidente. Il nous semble quand même crucial qu'on laisse au moins la toute première partie, qu'il n'y a pas de raison technique pour qu'une partie seulement de l'extraction minière dans la région de Whale Quarry se fasse en souterrain. Parce que ça, c'est également un fait, et vu que la délégation indienne tient beaucoup aux faits, je trouve qu'on ne pourra pas contester que cette partie reste, vu que c'est la compagnie minière elle-même qui a apparemment accordé ou informé sur ce fait.
Thank you very much. India, floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I loved the use of the word apparently, because the mining company apparently said so, and apparently to somebody, and apparently there were some experts there. That is not the issue. You are asking this committee, 21 responsible countries, to take a technical decision on a technical issue, whether the mining should be open cast, overcast, whatever it should be. We are not qualified to do that without a serious technical assessment. You are doing it on the basis of a mission which went, spoke to some experts, maybe had an expert or more than an expert or less than an expert. This is not the way that the committee functions. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. United Arab Emirates.
شكرا السيد الرئيس. بمتابعتنا لسير النقاش هناك مسألتان. المسألة الأولى لما عرضتها إيكومس لم يعرض بشكل قاطع بأن المعلومات التي لديهم عن هذا الموقع هي معلومات دقيقة، بالرغم من أنهم أشاروا إلى أنها هذه المناجم ممكن تدخل في إطار المنطقة الفاصلة، لكنهم أضافوا بعد ذلك أنهم ليسوا متأكدين عن حدود المنطقة الفاصلة، فتركوا لنا فرصة لأخذ في الاعتبار الرأي الآخر، أنه طالما أن ليست الأمور محددة بشكل دقيق، لذلك نحن نرى أن يتم التأكد من كل هذه المعلومات، وألا نشير إلى لا نشير في هذه المرحلة إلى خطورة هذه المناجم على الموقع حتى تكتمل كل المعلومات بشكل محدد. هذا ما فهمته من المقترح الهندي إذا كنت محقا. فنحن في مرحلة بالتوفيق بين عدم الحكم المسبق والتأكد من إيكومس وعدم تأكيدهم بمعرفتهم بحدود التخوم. فنرى أنه فعلا في صعوبة لتحديد موقف صارم في هذا الاتجاه، ولكن ممكن التوفيق بين أنه نظرا لعدم معرفة الهيئات الاستشارية الدقيقة بالتخوم للموقع، فإننا نرى أن يتم استيفاء هذه المعلومات والخرائط في المرحلة القادمة، تعطي الدولة الطرف مهلة إلى أن يتم النقاش فيها في الدورة القادمة. يمكن صياغة ما عبرت عنه عبر المقرر في حالة أن رأيتم أن هذا يخدم الغرض. شكرا.
Thank you very much. Dear colleagues, I would like to express my opinion too. So it's very technical point, which is the committee has the right even to give the technical, advice like this, to the sovereign party, to the, private company. So we expressed our concern about the possible influence to outstanding universal value. So it's up to state party to decide how they will, resolve this problem. But, to put this technical underground, not underground, it sounds very strange in my opinion. Germany, please, floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Germany proposed following wording, compromise wording, okay, requests the state party to consider whether alternative technical instruments are available for the mining, and that means in this case underground mining.
Thank you very much. Senegal.
Madame la Présidente, on est de plus en plus dubitatif maintenant. C'est compliqué parce que entre les informations que nous recevons de l'ICOMOS et les réponses que nous avons de l'État partie, il est extrêmement difficile de décider. Est-il possible d'envisager qu'un petit groupe se concerte avec l'État partie, prenne connaissance des informations de l'ICOMOS et nous fasse une proposition ultérieurement?
Thank you very much. Mali.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. À ce rythme, Madame la Présidente, je pense que nous allons revenir à la case départ. Je voudrais faire une proposition concrète. J'adhère d'abord à la proposition de la Suisse, qui nous demande d'attendre d'abord de recevoir des cartes avant de se prononcer. C'est plus logique. Et ma proposition est de surseoir à ce 4-là. Parce que la première partie du 4 dit que oui, il y a impact sur le site. La deuxième partie dit non, il n'y a pas d'impact. On ne peut pas savoir s'il y a impact négatif ou pas sur le site avant de recevoir les cartes. Donc je propose qu'on supprime tout simplement ce 4. Merci.
Thank you very much. Colombia.
Gracias, señora Presidenta. Nosotros también hemos estado escuchando el debate y llegamos a la misma conclusión de lo que acaba de decir el representante de Mali. La propuesta de Suiza es la más sensata que pareciera en este momento, que es esperar a poder tener toda la información para poder tomar alguna decisión antes de hablar de cualquier tipo de impacto, de cualquier tipo de resultados técnicos. Podríamos simplemente abolir todo esto que hemos puesto en la quinta, quedarnos en la cuarta como la propuso Suiza, y si quieren añadirle lo del valor universal, cualquier análisis, pero antes de tener la información no podemos tomar una decisión. Gracias.
Thank you very much. So is it reasonable to continue this discussion? Estonia and Japan. So, and I close the discussion.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We just had an alternative wording for this paragraph. It's an open-ended wording like we normally used to have it, that we request the state party to ensure that any mining activities do not affect the outstanding universal value of the property. Is it open
Thank you
enough?
very much. But I suppose that it will be discussion without end. So I propose small group which bring us a decision. Deletion or some words, and we will, because I don't see we stopped, you know, and go nowhere. Japan, please.
Thank you very much. At this last moment of the committee discussion, it's very difficult. We are facing the difficult phase without proper information. And this is, again, it's, we cannot give the technical decisions at this moment. I think that it's just delete, or we cannot go further technical information to put down here at this moment.
Thank you very much. So as I understand, the majority of the countries express their decision to delete completely this point, because the previous point covers all necessary, you know, assessment which has to be done, and then next year we can make the proper decision. If not, I see Germany not agreed. Please, Germany, Switzerland, Colombia, please stay together and bring us the decision. We can't, you know, make this literature work on the screen. You know, everybody propose their own variant. So let's make the working group and stop and go further. Please, India, I would like to ask you, Germany, Switzerland, Colombia, please make small working group and bring out the decision. And we go on. So I stop. Senegal. Yes.
Oui, avec votre permission, Madame la Présidente, nous nous joindrons à ce groupe-là.
Yes, please. So, dear colleagues, we now stop the discussion on this matter, and we will return after the working group brings us some possible decision. So now I would like to draw your attention to the items which don't require any discussion, but it was some, in one item, it was some technical, you know, change which proposed by Secretariat, which Stone Town of Zanzibar, United Republic of Tanzania, which is not for the discussion, but I would ask the World Heritage Center to, you know, give us the information what they want to change in the resolution.
Merci Madame la Présidente. C'était simplement pour préciser que l'évaluation d'impact sur le patrimoine avait été bien reçue, simplement. Merci.
Thank you very much. So I give the floor to the reporter. Please, what change we have to?
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. I'm sorry to say, but the Secretariat sorry.
Urges the state party to submit to the world. This has been received now.
So, in the draft decision, it is said that and urges the state party to submit the HIA to the World Heritage Center to review by the advisory body as soon as possible. So, we will delete this part because this assessment have been received by advisory bodies. That's all. So if nobody object, so we can adopt the decision 36-7B.49 adopted. And it was some demand from Senegal yesterday to open the discussion on old towns of Djenné because they gave some amendments. and ask to open the discussion, but unfortunately I have to state, and we spoke yesterday with His Excellency, Ambassador of Senegal, that unfortunately the World Heritage Center received this appeal after the statutory deadline, and normally we don't open the discussion when this appeal is received after 15th of June. So, Senegal, may I ask you, are you agree that we don't open the discussion on this item?
Eh bien, je pense que, bon, puisqu'il faut appliquer le règlement et que nous soyons forclos au moment où nous avons remis ce projet, je pense que nous ne pouvons qu'accepter. C'est dommage. Merci.
Thank you very much. So my colleagues from World Heritage Center say that we can open this, the discussion on this site. So we received the amendments. Did we receive the amendment from?
Mali has got, Senegal has got.
So, if it's no objection, so can we adopt the decision 36.7b.44, Old Town of Djenné, Mali? Senegal, do you have any objection?
Oh, je n'ai pas d'objection particulière.
Mali?
Oui, merci Madame la Présidente. J'ai dû entendre que le Centre du patrimoine mondial a autorisé l'ouverture de la discussion. C'est ce que j'ai entendu.
It's committee who can open the. Do you have something urgent that we have to discuss? Please, Senegal, State Party can open the discussion. So, Senegal, once more, please, because it is some confusion. So, do we open the discussion or not?
Bon, si la partie malienne est prête, on peut ouvrir la discussion. Voilà.
Now, if the committees agree, Mali has no right to participate in the discussion, like State Party.
Ben, nous sommes d'accord pour qu'on ouvre la discussion.
Okay, so we have the proposal from Senegal to open the discussion of the item 36.7b.44, Old Towns of Djenné, Mali. I would like to ask the committee, are you agree to open the discussion of this site? Germany.
Madam Chair, I think we make decisions on the discussion. This has nothing to do with Mali now or with Senegal. But when we have a rule that we don't do that once we have decided it and it's in the deadline, then we should only make an exception if it's really an extremely urgent case. And I can't judge upon it because I don't know. So I don't know how we can solve this problem, but this should be an exception. Otherwise, we can reopen every issue. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and I will give the floor to the Director of World Heritage Center.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just to clarify this issue, because there appears to be some confusion. Over the last several years, the committee has followed this practice of allowing the committee members the opportunity to open certain state of conservation reports that are included in the document for discussion. And they have to give their suggestions 2 weeks before the commencement of the session. This practice has been operating since the last couple of years. But that does not mean that the committee members do not have the possibility of opening any other state of conservation report if they so desire on the floor of the session. So this is precisely what Senegal is making a request for doing, that there is this state of conservation report which they feel there are certain urgent issues to discuss and they have the right to do so. Every committee member can do that. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. So Senegal, please give the rationale of your proposal. Thank you.
Je pense, Madame la Présidente, que compte tenu de la situation actuelle du Mali, je pense que nous pouvons nous en arrêter à ce que prévoit le paragraphe 9, c'est-à-dire s'arrêter à sa 37e session en 2013, la dernière phrase est abiffée. Voilà.
Please put on the screen the document 36Com7B.44. Thank you very much. Mali put 2 sites in the list of danger, and this what exceptional site, which Estonia, please take the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm just a bit confused. We didn't understand the rationale of opening this item.
So maybe I will give the floor to the World Heritage Center. Please, floor is yours.
Merci, Madame la Présidente. C'est juste pour clarifier que ce paragraphe, si le distingué délégué du Sénégal est d'accord, peut rester comme il est, compte tenu de la situation qui a été discutée tout à l'heure sur les sites généraux du Mali. Donc si le délégué du Sénégal est d'accord, on pourrait garder le paragraphe comme il est.
Oui, nous sommes tout à fait d'accord. On peut garder le paragraphe tel qu'il est.
So, can we adopt the resolution 36Com7B.44, all towns of Guinea, like it states in the document? So I see no objections. Adopted. Thank you very much. So, can we return to the previous pending, item? Our drafting group finished their work or not? Yes.
Thank you, Madam
Please.
Chair. The drafting group finished finished the work. And I would request the distinguished representative from Switzerland to actually give a copy, which can then come on the screen. Oh, we finished with him also? Okay. Madam Chair, give us 3 minutes.
Okay, thank you very much. So meanwhile, we can move on to the Asia and the Pacific region and adopt the resolutions that not require any discussion. So I would like to give the floor to Mr. Jiang. Please, floor is yours, and tell us which resolution has no discussion.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson, the distinguished committee members. The draft decisions for the following cultural properties inscribed on the World Heritage List in the Asia-Pacific region is now being put forward to the committee for adoption without discussion. These are the Mahabodhi Temple Complex at Bodh Gaya in India. Number 62, Maid Imam Isfahan in Islamic Republic of Iran. Number 63, town of Luang Prabang in Lao People's Democratic Republic. Number 64, Wat Phu and associated Asian settlements within the Champasak cultural landscape in Lao PDR. Number 65, Lumbini, the birthplace of the Lord Buddha in Nepal. Number 66, Kathmandu Valley in Nepal. Number 68, Old Town of Gaul and its fortifications in Sri Lanka. And last one, number 69, Samarkand, the crossroads of culture in Uzbekistan. Thank you, Madam Chairperson.
Thank you very much. May I consider all these items, all these resolutions adopted? I see no objections. Adopted. Our Switzerland friend is here, not yet. So now we can open the discussion on the item 36.7b.76, historical monuments of Makli, Tata, Pakistan. Now I give the floor to the representative of World Heritage Center. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. The conservation issues of this property is summarized in the working document 36.7b at page 136 to 139 of the English version and page 147 to 150 of the French version. The first state party report on this property was submitted to the World Heritage Center in November 2011. A few issues raised in decision 35.7b76 have been addressed in the state party's report. These points are summarized in your working document as indicated before. The state party has further reported on 23rd May 2012, after a reactive monitor mission, that the Culture Department of the Government of Sindh, as custody to this cultural heritage situated in the province of Pakistan, is taking some measures to address the situation at the property. These included, first, stabilization of structure of the property, including that for the tomb of Jam Nizamuddin, and number two, development of a comprehensive master plan for the conservation, preservation of Makli monuments. The work is underway and expected to be completed by end of July this year, and the master plan will then be submitted to the authorities concerned for final approval. And of course, the finalized plan will be submitted to the World Heritage Center and the committee accordingly. Thirdly, the work on defining the property's boundary and the establishment of a buffer zone has been commissioned to an agency in the first quarter of 2012. Further, a documentation center has been set up at the property, supported by the Prince Claus Foundation of the Netherlands. However, the property is still faced with potential danger, which includes threat as confirmed by the joint UNESCO ICOMOS reactor monitoring mission to the property, which took place from 5th to 11th of May 2012. The conclusions and the recommendations of the mission are also summarized in the working document 7B add. The very extensive property with thousands of monuments could be considered to be still under some threat, and substantial interventions are needed together with extensive capacity building to begin to make any impact. The World Heritage Center and ICOMOS acknowledge that new management arrangement that came into force last year brought some great constraints. However, very recent activities observed by the May 2012 mission and the further information just provided by the State Party are also quite promising, such as the work of the Heritage Foundation and NGO and the approval of certain funding to support the management and also the development of a master plan. We would therefore consider that this positive work should be further encouraged to see if sufficient progress can be made to begin to reverse the serious degradation in the state of conservation of the property within 1 year and consider the possibility of it being put on the list of World Heritage in danger at the committee's next session in 2013. The draft decision 36-7B67 can be found on page 138 of the English version and pages 149 and 150 of the French version of the working document. Madam Chairperson, ICOMOS will provide further comments on details relating to threats to the property and the recommendations of the most recent reactor monitoring mission. Spasiba.
Thank you very much. ICOMOS, floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As noted by my colleague from the Center, we note with concern that limited progress has been made in implementing past decisions made by the World Heritage Committee. We also note the current state of conservation of the property and the threats evaluated by the reactive monitoring mission, which are largely due to the exposure of built elements to the natural factors, but also to lack of implementation of comprehensive measures. In particular, we underscore that lack of clearly defined boundaries and buffer zone and the urgent need to carry out interventions to ensure the conservation of the built fabric. Planning tools need to be revised and a disaster risk management needs to be prepared. Despite this situation, ICOMOS considers that time should be given to the state party to see whether the management arrangements that have come into force last year and other actions that have been taken into addressing conditions, such as outsourcing the implementation of conservation, can improve the existing conservation before deciding where in danger listing is a necessary mechanism to assist the state party. ICOMOS remains committed to helping and working with the state party in identifying and implementing the appropriate measures to ensure that the serious state of conservation is systematically and comprehensively addressed. Thank you.
Thank you very much, dear colleagues. Floor is open. Or, excuse me, our colleagues from Switzerland, this point 5 is ready. Can you, so if you are ready, we can return to the previous South African site and, finish our work. Are you ready? Thank you very much. So I stop for the moment. We received the information from ICOMOS on historical monuments and Makli. And now I move back to the Mapungubwe cultural landscape, South Africa. Our drafting group, I suppose, gave us the proper formulation. What you have to, please.
Sorry, Madam Chair, but my colleagues are out of the room and they... Oh, she's in. Okay.
Switzerland, floor is yours, please.
Merci Madame la Présidente et mes excuses que j'ai retardé les discussions par mon absence. Le petit groupe donc, propose au comité de garder du paragraphe 5, c'était celui en question, l'amendement proposé par l'Estonie, c'est-à-dire, et en anglais c'était request the state party to ensure that any mining activity has no impact on the outstanding universal value of the property, et de biffer tout le reste de cet paragraphe. Le groupe s'est mis d'accord de proposer également d'enlever le paragraphe original numéro 6 parce que cette requête est en quelque sorte inclue déjà dans les paragraphes antérieurs. Tout le reste de la décision reste comme proposé. Merci Madame la Présidente.
Reporter, please take the floor. So now we go for adoption, if nobody has any other opinions. So point which is 5, now is 5. Yes, please, floor is yours.
Yes, Madam Chairperson, just to confirm now, we will work on the addition and the numberings. Basically, the decision has finally 8 paragraphs. And the proposed amendment of the working group says, as pointed out by the distinguished delegate of Switzerland, requests the state party to ensure that any mining activities do not affect the outstanding universal value of the property. Then previous paragraph 6 was deleted and the rest remains.
So, as usual, let's go paragraph by paragraph. So now we have to adopt the paragraph 5 proposed by the drafting group. Paragraph 5 is any objections? I see none, so adopted. So paragraph 4 is deleted. Paragraph 5 is deleted. So go on, please. Paragraph 6.
Basically, Madam Chairperson, now paragraph 6, 7, and 8 have no amendments, so we can approve them.
Okay. So can we adopt paragraph 6, 7, and 8 in the new version of the decision? I see no objection, so adopted. Now we have to adopt the whole resolution. Yes, please, Germany. No? Okay, so now we have to adopt the whole resolution, 36.7b.4. I see no objection, so the resolution is adopted. Thank you very much. Germany, please take the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. After closing the debate on this item, I'd like to draw the attention of my colleagues to the fact how crucial it is to have a clear delineation of World Heritage Sites and of their buffer zones. We should keep that in mind in regard to the upcoming discussion on new nominations to the World Heritage List. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. It's a very, very important amendment. Thank you. So now we move on to the historical monuments of Makli, Tata, Pakistan. 36.7b.67, document WHC 12/36 36.com/7b.add. So we heard just India. Yes.
Madam, we note that the draft resolution suggests that there is a new memorandum of understanding on management within NGO and welcomes the very recent activity in the province of some funding. Besides, it also notes that the investigative work has been undertaken on the tomb of Jam Nizamuddin. So we would suggest that in the light of these positive developments, we should not be very harsh in penalizing the party or under the threat of delisting, and we should give the state party a chance to be heard. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Some other opinions? If there is no other opinion, so we straight go to the resolution. So I would like, we have one proposal from India, so I go straight to the paragraph 11. Please show us paragraph 11. So as I understand, India proposed that the paragraph 11 sounds also requests the state party to submit to the World Heritage Center by 1st February 2013 a detailed report of the state of conservation of the property, including progress on implementing the recommendations of the 2012 Joint UNESCO-ICOMOS Reactive Monitoring Mission for examination by the World Heritage Committee at its 37th session in 2013, full stop, and delete the other part of this phrase. Are there any objections to this proposal? I see no objection, so we adopt paragraph 11 as amended. So now we have to adopt the whole decision 36.7b .67, historical monument of Makli, Pakistan. So I consider, I see no objections, that we can adopt the decision 36.7b.67. Adopted. Thank you very much. So now we, where is, So now we move to the mixed properties. Europe and North America. So now I would like to ask Madam Tocharova to read out the list of the reports that require no discussion by the committee. Madam Tocharova, floor is yours. So if Madam Tocharova is not here, I will read it myself. So Pyrenees, Montperdu, France, Spain, decision 36.7b.37, and Mountain Athos, Greece, decision 36.7b.38. If there is no objection, we adopt these two decisions without discussion. Adopted. Thank you very much. So now we move on to the Latin America and the Caribbean sites, which are under discussion. So I would invite Noritza Sanz to present the reports on the state of conservation of historic sanctuary of Machu Picchu, Peru. Decision 36.7b.39, document WHC 12/36.com/7b.add. Floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Secretariat and advisory bodies would like to thank all the efforts made by the Ministry of Culture and the Ministry of Environment of Peru in organizing a very successful mission that has been requested by the World Heritage Committee in last session in 2011. The expert showed concern on the uncontrolled development of Aguascalientes. The expert recommended as a priority to establish the current capacity for the village and to establish regulation before finalizing the updating of the urban planning. The expert as well highly recommended finalizing and approving the regulations of the new management unit set up by the presidential decree in June 2011 as soon as possible. Draft decision has been amended by the Secretariat and the advisory bodies. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. ICOMOS IUCN, do you have to add something?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. The advisory bodies have expressed their strong concern about the conditions of the property that pose a threat to its outstanding universal value, in particular governance, effective implementation of planning tools, regulatory measure, the issue of the Western Axis, and increased public visitation. These have been reiterated by the recent missions. We have repeatedly recommended to the World Heritage Committee inscription of the property on the list of World Heritage in danger as a call for action to adopt strong corrective measures and to mobilize resources to holistically address these threats. The mission carried out in May 2012 to set up an international support panel is a crucial step toward the implementation of the emergency plan, which was defined in 2009 and which has had limited progress in implementation. This recently created mechanism, the International Panel, should assist the state party in addressing the long list of unresolved issues. The advisory bodies appreciate the willingness of the Peruvian Trust Fund for National Parks and Protected Areas to work with the national services, both for natural areas and for culture, and the panel to finding the funding to implement the emergency action plan. We remain committed to assisting the state party. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So, floor is open. India, please take the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. I think in view of the very significant steps that have been taken, the recommendation of the World Heritage Center, as well as the acknowledgement by the advisory bodies of the work that is being undertaken very seriously at Machu Picchu, and that there is a report expected by February 1st, 2013, I would request that we would urge that perhaps the decision is we should review that report before we take any further decisions. And I'm delighted to see that the advisory bodies have recommended extending the scope of the historic site to include the route to Machu Picchu, because I think that's part of its universal value. It's on your map, the historic track.
Thank you very much. Any other member of the committee wants to express their... If not, so Colombia, please take the floor.
Gracias, señora presidenta. Efectivamente, retomo las palabras de la representante de India. Es muy interesante que se vaya a hacer un estudio de cómo expandir el bien. Agradecemos mucho el reporte de la Secretaría y queremos expresar, no quiero hablar en nombre del país, sin embargo, ellos están conformes con este draft tal como está y quisiera dejarlo saber aquí en la sala. Gracias. Perú está conforme. Gracias.
Thank you very much. I suppose that we can move to the draft, to the resolution, and I will give the floor to the rapporteur.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. As was mentioned by Mrs. Nuria Sanz, we have two proposed amendments to the draft decision 39. Basically, it refers to paragraph 6, and the text is already in the screens within the text. In little a, it is proposed to include the phrase at the end of this little a, by the end of 2012, and to include a limit of acceptable change study and a related carrying capacity study for Aguascalientes village. And then on little f, we also need to add at the end, and approving the regulation of the management unit still pending, so as to establish a real collegiate authority for the sanctuary.
Thank you very much. Are there, please put these two amendments to the screen, and or you need paper. You have the paper. So, do you have any objections to these amendments? I see no objections. Colombia.
Just one question, Madam President. These amendments by the Secretariat have been there discussed with the State Party, or these are amendments made here in the... I have a question for the
Yes,
Secretary.
please, World Heritage Center, answer the question.
Yes, of course, the State Party has received a preliminary report with all of the recommendations, taking into account that the mission took place at the very end of May 2012. They have, as you recall to all the members of the committee, that they have read and they have accepted this amendment. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So I suppose that, as usual, we now adopt the paragraph 6, A and 6F with these amendments. Are any objections to adopt the paragraph 6.A as amended? I see no objections. Adopted. So are there any objections to adopt, like amended, the paragraph 6.F? I see no objections, so adopted. Now we have to adopt the whole decision 36,7b.39. Are there any objection for this adoption? I see none, so adopted. Thank you very much. So now we move on to the Africa, these mixed sites, and we have to adopt the resolution on the site, which has, which not require any discussion by the committee. So it's Ngorongoro Conservation Area, United Republic of Tanzania. Decision 36,7b.35. If there is no objection, adopted. So now we move to the Asia-Pacific mixed sites, and we have to adopt the resolution on the sites which require no decision by the committee. It's Tasmanian Wilderness, Australia, decision 36,7b.36. If there are no objections, we adopt the decision. Thank you very much. And now we move on to the natural heritage. And the first item for the discussion will be Virgin Komi Forest, Russian Federation. Request received from the Russian Federation not to... So first of all, I have to leave the podium, and I would ask my South African colleague to replace me. please. We now move to the natural properties of the Europe and North America region. I would now like to ask Mr. Debonet to present the report on the state of conservation of the property under discussion. Over to you, Mr. Debonet.
Thank you very much. So the property is the Virgin Komi Forest in the Russian Federation. The World Heritage Center and IUCN have received reports and photographic evidence that full-scale property mining works have begun in the Chudnoe area in the northern component of the World Heritage Site, including roadworks, drilling and blast works. The State Party report also confirms that preparatory works to install the gold mine have started. It is important to recall that the State Party excluded several areas in blue on the map from the Yugidva National Park, which is the northern part of this property, thereby removing the legal protection of this part of the property. Therefore, the gold mining works are inside the World Heritage property. The preparatory works are visible on satellite images. The World Heritage Center and IUCN recall that the 2010 monitoring mission concluded that a gold mine at Chudnoe would have significant negative impacts on the property's outstanding universal value, including contamination of the Kozim River within the property, and impacts resulting from the construction of extensive infrastructure, and considered that the negative impacts are likely to extend well beyond the 19.9 kilometers square of the mining perimeter. The World Heritage Center and IUCN consider that the ongoing mining in the property and the removal of the legal protection of this part of its territory constitute an ascertained danger to the property's outstanding universal value in line with paragraph 180 of the operational guidelines, and therefore recommend that the site be inscribed on the list of World Heritage in danger. The World Heritage Center notes it received on June 15th a letter from the State Party noting that work is ongoing on a major boundary modification proposal and requests to envisage to postpone the discussion of this property to the next session. The draft decision is on page 51 in the English version of your document 7B Ed, page 55 of the French version. Madam Chair, also IUCN has a comment on this site.
I would now like to pass on the floor to IUCN.
Thank you, Chair. IUCN notes that the World Heritage Centre and IUCN previously recommended the inscription of the Virgin Komi forests on the list of World Heritage in danger at the committee's 35th session in 2011, following a joint reactive monitoring mission to the property. At that time, the proposed gold mine within the property had been approved, but mining had not yet started. IUCN stresses that there is now clear evidence that full-scale mining preparatory works are ongoing within the property, and they recall that mining is incompatible with World Heritage Site status in line with the committee's established policy, which is also supported by industry, including the leading commitments of the International Council on Mining and Metals. IUCN notes also that the federal law, number 365FZ of 30 November 2011, appears to weaken the protection status of strict nature reserves, which could also affect the Virgin Komi forests as well as other Russian Federation properties. And IUCN also notes that it's important, therefore, that the State Party take appropriate legal measures to maintain a high level of protection for the Virgin Komi forests as well as other World Heritage properties on its territory in accordance with paragraph 15F of the operational guidelines by creating a comprehensive national legal framework to ensure the fulfilment of the State Party's obligations under the Convention. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much, IUCN. There's a gender change. I open the floor to the delegates for discussion. I see India. India, you have the floor.
Thank you, Chair. When you said gender change, I heard agenda change. But this property, the Virgin Komi Forests, has been discussed at the preceding session of the World Heritage committee at the 35th session. Now, my recollection of the decisions taken then were to make a request, in fact, an urgent request to the Russian Federation to submit by 1st February 2013 information on boundary modification or proposed boundary modification, the establishment of a buffer zone, and the inclusion of valuable forest lands into the property. So my sense is that the draft decision that is being placed before us by the World Heritage Center is essentially premature. And we would probably do well to go back to the sense, spirit, and letter of the 35th session. The draft decision, in a sense, being proposed is, in a sense, thematically repetitive. So I think we should look at that. There's also an area that I'm not very clear on, and maybe we would need the state party to clarify. I think we will need the state party to clarify on the earlier count and on this one. Federal Law 365, adopted by Russia, presumably in discharge of sovereign functions. I'm not very clear from the material placed before me as how does this sort of weaken the protection regime that is in place. So I'm sure that we will discuss this, but we do have some amendments, which I presume will come on the screen in due course of time. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, India. I will ask the Senator to clarify the question posed by India. Senator, you have the floor.
I understand the question is in relation to the decision that was made last year. Last year, there was indeed a proposal from the advisory bodies in the World Heritage Center to put the site on the danger list because, in fact, because of the unilateral change in the boundaries of Yugidva National Park, a part of the World Heritage Site had lost its protection status, and so this is, in accordance with the operational guidelines, a reason to inscribe sites on the danger list. This year, of course, this condition remains, but there is also an additional point that in the meantime we have mining ongoing within the World Heritage properties, as these areas have not yet been excluded. It is true that at the 35th session the committee looked at considering a boundary modification, but of course a boundary modification still has to be submitted, and it would be premature, I think, to preempt the decision of the committee on that boundary modification. Thank you.
Thank you to the Senator. I see Germany. Germany, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. We have a special interest in this area because we think it's really unique in the world because it's the only remaining boreal forests. This is a highly valuable site. Therefore, we are very concerned that there are changes made first and then the committee is asked to accept them. That is why we fully support what IUCN and the World Heritage Center says. I think we cannot make an exception here. We are very strict, and you know that some of our African colleagues, for example, are trying hard to find doable ways to solve mining issues together with the World Heritage Center and members of the committee. In this case, Germany has even helped with more than exactly 3 million euro with UNDP to develop the site in a way that it was ready for inscription and maintenance. And I now give the floor to my expert for addition. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, indeed, the virgin Komi forests are a very important property with a high biodiversity and important ecosystem services provided. It is in the context of climate change where the Komi forests play a major role and are of extremely high value. With the International Climate Change Initiative, Germany has recognized this in funding the mentioned 3 million euro project on improved protected area system in Komi Republic for better conservation of globally important biodiversity and maintenance of carbon pools, and we are highly interested in the conservation status of the property. The report in front of us presents three main issues which are closely linked. A major change of boundaries in the north of the property, which is not in conformity with the operational guidelines, especially paragraph 165 at the moment. I recognize that there are plans going on. A significant change of legal status, weakening the protection, as the World Heritage Center has reported and explained to us. And the continuation on preparatory works for gold mining within the existing boundaries of the property. And the committee last year has asked the state party to stop these developments. We consider that gold mining activities are incompatible with the World Heritage status and that the change of the legal protection status presents an ascertained danger to the OUV of the property. We therefore support the draft decision and confirm and would like to stress that IUCN's and the World Heritage Center's assessment on this are completely in line what we think. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Chairman. I see a point of order from India. India, you have the floor.
Thank you, Chair. The World Heritage Center was also asked to inform us, educate us, clarify to us what this Federal Law 365 is going to do. Now, if they know about it, then I think they should do it. Otherwise, we could ask the state party.
Thank you, India. Can I ask the Senator to clarify? You have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Chair, I'm sorry. It is the habit. So, indeed, there was a change in the legislation in Russia. You know, in the Russian Federation, there are different types of protected areas. One is the strict nature reserves, and we have most of the World Heritage sites in Russia have components that are classified under this instrument. In the case of the Virgin Komi forests, we have two protected areas included in the Virgin Komi forests. One is the Yugidva National Park, and the other one is the Pechora Ilich Strict Nature Reserve. So in the case of Virgin Komi Forest, the second part is protected under that protected area category. Now, there was a recent change in the Russian legislation which makes it possible to allow certain infrastructure works happening in these strict nature reserves, therefore weakening the protection status under which these areas were included under the World Heritage List. But perhaps IUCN can also give some additional clarifications.
Thank you very much to the Center. I have the following parties requesting the floor: Serbia, France, Estonia, and Switzerland. It's time to close this session. We will continue with this agenda item at 3 o'clock. In that order, I would like to give the floor to the Center for announcement before we adjourn this session.
Thank you very
You have the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. At 1:15, there is an informal meeting of the Category 2 centers, and that will happen in room 11. It is after the security to your right when you enter the main building. The second point is the budget group, which meets from 2 to 3 in the library, which is the bureau room. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Thank you to the Secretariat. This session is adjourned. Thank you.